Thing anymore?
No.
It's all awkward.
Aesthetics. Pivola,
Niyake.
Niyake, Janet.
Oh, Madame
Stongo, Oshkenyacha.
Hunts D Huntedish.
Wina,
Osio.
Halito,
Kikadoos.
Unsti. Wait. Unsti Huntidish.
Wait, did I say that one?
No.
Oh,
Oh. Yate.
Halito.
I already said it.
No.
Yeah, I did.
No.
After you said CO.
Kunamante.
Madawika.
Hawata.
What?
Means wake up.
Hinapi.
Oh, I forgot about Hinapi. Kasi Thali.
Say it again.
Kasi Thali.
Not even close. Not even
Pretty sure that's
close.
pretty accurate.
Well, good morning. Good morning. Coming live from 1950 South Shepherd here in El Reno, El Ghetto, Helltown, the gut. So, where the hell you been at?
Which day? Yesterday?
Yeah.
Yesterday, I took a field trip to the zoo. They got, the Kingfisher kids got to go on an adventure. So we went out there, did some family time, saw some cheetahs eat a rabbit that wasn't supposed to be in the cage. So that was pretty cool. Saw some elephants swimming. And then went to go eat dinner for my grandma that's going back home today. So,
Well, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad they let you out of the zoo.
know,
I wasn't
had to
expecting
convince 'em.
that. I'm already rubbing my eyes.
Rub the other one.
It itches bad today. But we're glad you could come back. I got to go to Domingo's barbecue after work. That was cool, and it's pretty funny just being around, the whole Mingo experience.
Yeah, I feel like it's a TV show in itself.
Yeah. His mom's hilarious. So, but it was cool, I got to hear Janet and Chris, got to hear how they
The Lovebirds.
yeah, how they interact, just true love,
Yep.
So,
Seen anything more pure.
yeah, never
Yeah.
seen anything more pure
All about building
than
up
that
tension.
love. Yeah, definitely,
Truly unconditional.
Yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah, they went home and I went straight to sleep. So, but yeah, it was a good time. Got to go eat lunch yesterday with my bros, Craig and George. That was cool. Got a good visit with them. But yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, we had a good weekend dancing, and so that was a fun dance. And then, yeah, it's a good week so far.
So we start. So this week, I think today's the last day we'll be able to podcast, right?
Yep.
Or go live or whatever you want to call it.
Just us two.
Just us two.
But yeah, so the Prevenger Baddies will
The
be your
Prevenger
hosts from
Baddies.
Wednesday to Friday. And so we'll see if they get over their stage fright and
Yeah.
get comfortable behind the mic. Soon
Hold
they're
it
going to be fighting
down.
over whoever is going to be on the live watch.
Hold it down.
They're all like, oh, I'm going to be sick.
Yeah.
Just be gone.
Be saving lives, You'll be saving lives.
Changing lives, saving lives, doing it
So-
all. And then Desi's going to give her award-winning speech on how to get
Yeah,
10,000
definitely.
steps in a day.
'Cause I want to hear this
I
anyways.
know
'cause
she's
we-
been talking about it forever. Now you got my eye itching. But yeah, she's been talking about her public speaking skills and telling people how to get 10,000 steps. So hopefully everybody will know.
Good morning, Cassie. Good morning, Nat. Yep. So it'll be interesting to see. You know, like I've been thinking about like reading these. I remember doing these last year, and I'm trying to like remember what I said last year.
Mhm.
You know, because I mean, I think it would be pretty cool to kind of see
The growth.
the growth, or if I'm still stuck, you
Mm.
know, in that same. But I remember like the one a couple weeks ago, maybe last week sometime, was about spiritual law and you know, picking a flower to smell it. And I remember saying like my spiritual law wouldn't allow me to even grab the flower and pick it from the earth.
Maybe lean down and smell.
Yeah, lean down and smell it, you know. So I do remember like, so it just makes me wonder every day like what I said the year before.
Mhm. On the grainy iPhone video,
Yeah.
falling down, whatever. Would get into it, the phone would just.
And Mingo, if we put it against the radio thing,
It would overheat.
it would always say phone is hot.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we don't have that problem, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Growth.
Growth.
Growth, you know. So um
Good morning to my mom.
good morning, Miss Thomas. Who's under here?
Desiree Hunting Horse.
Oh, good morning, Desiree. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you everybody for commenting. Yeah, we was on quite a bit for like an hour and 15 minutes. But I don't know, like something about it never feels that long.
Right, yeah, it goes by quick. Like a lot of people will, whenever they come on, they're all nervous to get through. They're like, I didn't think I can fill up 5 minutes, and then they look at the time, it's like 45 in, and they're like, didn't even feel like it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, whenever you have good momentum and good words, like time flies.
Like I don't even know how long me and Bob was on yesterday.
I think that one was like 5 minutes.
Nah.
No, I think it was like 30 or 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we feel the space. You know what I mean? Like and I don't know, just how Bob is. He's always gonna think negative of himself. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, I can't believe I sound like that. Like we're used to it,
Yeah.
you know.
We've heard it.
Like,
It helped that we had all the questions.
yeah. So I mean, he did good though. I felt like he did good. I was surprised that he introduced himself as Robert
And not rain that
and
time.
not Rain. I was, you know, I was kind of setting him up for the whole, but you know, I mean, whatever makes him comfortable, you know. But I'm glad he did it. I'm glad he came on, and you know, he did a good job. So
Yep, need more of that. More people just to just show up and then just,
show out.
themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of wisdom around our community, and you just gotta
Stone Cold David.
give them the power, the platform.
Yeah, definitely. You know, but yeah, the Prevenger Baddies, they'll be on for the rest of the week. We have Sons of Tradition, Wellbriety training. So, you know, we'll be in the other room, but it's like from 8 to 5, right?
All day long, 3 days in a row.
All day long.
Mingo's gonna have a hard time.
I know, right? It'd be funny if he's late.
Yeah, he's gonna try to sneak out too.
Too bad.
His backpack
Too
on.
bad.
But yeah.
No, he stayed till 5 o'clock one day.
I know we gave him an award, and then I think he took it home. Where's this?
He took it home.
No, here it is, right here.
Yeah, he got an award.
That he stayed until 5 o'clock one
Yeah,
day. So
he
that
stayed one day until 5.
Just sit there.
But you know, we were telling him, I think yesterday that Tatum started.
Yep. So she's
Tatum
finishing
started.
up her
Yeah, her
PRSS
PRSS
certification.
certification.
Yep. And so she'll be in the office starting Monday. But yeah, so it's big things. We're growing. We still got one spot open for a peer, and so we're just trying to find that golden peer
Yeah,
to help out. Hopefully here, hopefully Clinton, really. But yeah, that way we can help more communities out, because us being in one location is always
Yeah, it's
difficult
tough.
to reach. Yeah, and so we're trying to spread to Clinton more. That way they can take more west, and then we can expand out here.
I mean, ideally, we already got a male peer over there. Soon to be peer, but I think it would be ideally to have a female. You know what I mean? Like have both over there.
Have a duplication of what we do here.
So hopefully, hopefully it all works out pretty soon.
Nat says no certification if not full attendance. We'll tag him so he knows. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty excited to meet the facilitator trainer. I got to see him in Billings. He was the MC of the Will Bridey conference. So
cool.
He likes to say, "Oh," when they say thank you. So, just something different.
Yeah. A new word
Different.
to add on. And then it'd be a new soundbite.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, and then today we're going to help the El Reno JOM or JOM, whichever one you want to call. We're going to make some hand drums for the high school kids. So that'll be a fun time.
Yaki Russ.
So, yeah. And we were talking about how it's every time we do hand drums, we're on Terry Tuesday shirts.
I know, right?
So everybody's going to think we don't wash our clothes. Well, they know you don't, but.
Well.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's dirty right now.
Both dying of some sickness.
I know, right? My Terry Tuesday is in the dirty laundry, so.
Yeah, so he just took one off of Terry.
Yeah.
So he's just sitting down there shirtless. Yeah. Just at his computer, all cold.
Watching the live.
Yeah, watching the live.
I missed that shirt.
That's my shirt. Should be me.
Good morning, Carrie. Mr. Williams, Kenny Williams. It's speaking of another great peer doing good work out there in Clinton, Oklahoma. Appreciate the brother Kenny Ray. But should we go ahead and
yeah. I guess. All right. All right. So, when people live far from the scenes of the Great Spirit's making, it's easy for them to forget his laws. Walking Buffalo, Stony. Society today is way off track. Unfortunately, many Indian people are caught up in these modern times. Elders are telling us we must wake up. We must come back to the culture because this is where his laws are. If we don't follow these laws, we will be unhappy. We cannot do things just because everybody is doing them. This does not make it right. We must follow what the Great Spirit says we must do. We need to pray hard for the courage to come back and live according to the culture. It will be difficult at first, but worth it in the end. We must teach our children the culture. Great Spirit, today let me listen to the warnings of the elders.
Oh. Thank you, Mr. Chebeda.
Anytime. That's what I'm here for.
What came to mind, the first thought that when I read that this morning was the life that I used to live. And, not saying that I'm just some culture rich guy who, no, I'm not saying that at all. But I remember a time in my life where the only reason why I wanted to go to a dance is because, I knew there's going to be chicks there. Like the whole point of the powwow did not mean nothing to me. But then I think about it and I still feel like it was drawing me to it, even if it was for the wrong reason. It was still drawing me to it. And luckily I got to, I was blessed with some sobriety. I was blessed with a little bit of clarity. I was blessed with, a way out. I was introduced to a new life. And I still am drawn to those types of places. I'm still drawn to that big drum. Like it's still like I could say like it was doing something for me then. I just didn't know how to recognize it. I just didn't know how to make it a part of my life, right? Because you know, thought I thought I was some kind of thug, or I was, I like I was trying to bring the street to the powwow. Like that street mentality. And when I think about it, man, I'm real embarrassed by the things that I used to do. I'm embarrassed by who I used to be, the things I used to do, and the way I used to carry myself. I was quick. I was real quick to turn against my own people. And it if anything, it just pulled me further away from this good feeling that I had. I remember getting excited, when a big powwow would come up. I remember being excited, like, man, like, it's gonna be a good time, like this, like something was drawing me to it. But like I said, I didn't know how to recognize that there's a healing part to all of this culture that we're talking about. And in the live where it talks about, getting away from who I really am, because when I think about it, who I really am is, I'm a simple man, but I'm a Cheyenne man, and I was luckily I was born in a little bitty town in western Oklahoma that with some friends and relatives that made sure that I knew what I was. I didn't have no mail in my home trying to show me, or like I didn't have a whole lot of role models that I said, well, that's who I want to be like when I grow up. None of that was going on, so when I had the opportunity, I just did what was easiest, and I went with, what was going on in the streets. I reacted in a way where I thought it was self-preservation. What really was happening was I'm a self-seeker, and I'm only good to people because I thought that they would have something that I wanted. I had a big problem with people telling me no, and it just like it just created more and more havoc in my life. And then being able to get sober, like I would have to say that was the beginning of these new feelings, these new ideals, these new aspirations, like these new um thoughts, this new thinking process. Like everything was new to me because I had never had the opportunity to think that way or to be that way, or like I always took kindness as a weakness. And yesterday we talked about love. I found love in my life, and not saying from anybody or, for any certain thing, but a love for myself that I never knew existed. And whenever I found that love for myself, that's where I found the creator. That's where I found the blessings that I had been waiting on my whole life, and it's like, I said it before, a boy becomes a man when he realizes nobody's coming to save him. I believed in that. I believe in that now. Nobody told me that before because there was no reason for me to act like a man. There was no reason for me to grow up. And my life was like in shambles, falling apart, and it was everybody else's fault but my own. So where it talks about the reading today, getting away from the creator, man, I can definitely look at my life and realize You know, if I would have stayed in Thomas, you know, I'm pretty sure I would have lived a totally different life. You know, different things would have happened. You know, I'm hard headed. I have to go and find out on my own. You know, you can't tell me nothing. You know, so it's like I can't sit there and think coulda, shoulda, woulda. You know, I can't go back and change what happened. I have no control over what's gonna, you know, if I even get tomorrow. All I know is that I'm here today, and I can be grateful for the things that I have today. You know, I can be blessed. You know, I'm blessed with a good mind. You know, a good heart, and you know, I have love in my life. You know, when I think about my grandbabies, you know, Alani and Nova, you know, like that, you know, that makes me feel equal to a lot of things now. You know, that makes me feel like I'm present, and you know, I have a purpose in my life. You know, so where it talks about, you know, getting away from the creator, getting away from the culture. I remember being drawn to those things. You know, I always wanted to be around, you know, whether it was a powwow, whether it was, you know, at a sweat, or, you know, peyote meetings, or, you know, Sundance, whatever it was, you know, I would always show up, you know, and I would always try to help out, you know, where I could. And, you know, I was always drawn to those types of things. I just didn't think I was worth taking part in them. You know, I didn't think I was, you know, I just didn't consider myself, you know, good enough to take part, but I believed in them. I just didn't think that I deserved those types of blessings. So, you know, I always think like today, like the opportunities still there for everybody. You know, don't matter what tribe you're from, don't matter, you know, really the only person that's stopping me from, you know, finding out more about what I need to find out about, or trying to receive these blessings, or, you know, just trying to stay involved, you know, is me. I'm the only person stopping myself. You know, so it's been a like an internal battle going on for with me for years and years. You know, one of my good brothers, you know, I used to watch him go, you know, watch him go drum, watch him sing, you know, and he still loves it to this day. And he invited me out to the drum a couple of times. And I don't know, like, because I don't know, like maybe because I didn't know enough, you know, I would get embarrassed, and I would, you know, it was more important to me to go run around, you know, than it was to sit there and focus on what's important. And I don't like compare myself to him, but I just think like, what if I would have stayed? You know, like I feel like, you know, it was more important for me to go run around than it was for me to sit down and you know, show a little bit of discipline in my life. You know, that's what I was afraid of, you know, was uh showing a little bit of discipline in my life.
Scared of success.
Scared of success, you know. So yeah, that's what I got.
Eat the tea.
Mado,
I mean,
Mado.
I think towards the end of what you're saying, I think it does show that we are what's holding us back sometimes when it comes to engaging in the culture. Because I know, for me, I felt the same way. Like I felt like I wasn't knowledgeable enough to go out there and to learn, and so I was putting up my own roadblocks. But once, oh, Nat said you were scared of losing cool points.
That too.
Yeah,
That too.
but once like you take the leap and you're learning, you realize like how welcoming it is, and how
Yeah.
that it was drawing you to the culture the whole time, whether
Yeah.
whether you felt it or for the right reasons or the wrong reasons or any
Wrong
reason.
reasons.
As long
Yeah.
as you felt it, you know that there is a connection there, and it's just natural for all of us, especially like natives, is because like you know, you can put a baby that's never been to a powwow out there, and then they hear that drum and they start moving, they start dancing, because like we already have that inherent connection to our people and to our culture. And yeah, once we grow up, we start putting our own barriers in front of us. And I
Yeah.
think you know, once you start lowering those barriers, you can see the amount of connection you feel out there. And for me, out of the meditation, it stuck out more of the prayer of like, let me listen to my elders, because I think that's how I made it through my life as smoothly, if you will. Because like how we were talking about the other Trauma Tuesday, I think it was, how like I know that I'm 100% an alcoholic, but I just never poured alcohol on my alcoholism. And I did that because I knew all my elders were in recovery. And so one time they were just talking about an AA meeting, and I was like, what does AA even stand for? I was like, probably 7. They're like Arapaho Alliance. And so like I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. But then, you know, as I grew up, I saw that, you know, it was all, you know, my grandparents were in recovery, and how much more stable their lives seemed, and how much more caring they could be towards you know, their grandkids. Because the at that time, you know, the generation between us and them was going through their struggles. And so seeing the complete polarity between people in recovery and people before recovery, you would see what each had to offer. And I embraced that positive experience with my grandmother in recovery and my grandfather in recovery. So my grandma celebrates 42 years this month, and then my grandpa, he's got lots of those, and he would still have many more if he was here, but he's got a lot of years. And so just between them and seeing the power of, you know, step work and how it affects everybody around you, it kind of, you know, kept me in check. And then it made me to where I didn't have to do what everybody was doing, because I knew you know, what both ends of that looked like, whether I
Yeah.
did go down that path or I didn't go down that path. And that resonated with me, uh you know, my whole life. And so hopefully I keep it up, because I don't want to flip of a switch and just be like, you know what? Yeah. But yeah. And so, uh, yeah, I hope we can, you know, pass that on to, you know, my kids. Like,
Yeah.
so Ari, you know, Ari and Zayla, they both go out there and jam out. You know, at first, you know, Zayla took a little bit more encouragement because she is shy, but once she's out there, she's ready. And so she'll be running to grab her shawl and go out there and go dance. Ari, same thing. She'll be getting it. Be fringes flapping everywhere, hitting her in the eye, but she'll be having a time of her life. And so, yeah. But yeah, that's all I got.
Well, that was good. That was good. Good morning, Laura, Drew, Jen,
Vinny,
Billings,
Vinny Von Miller,
Vinny Von Miller,
legend.
Jerry, Grandma Jerry. Good morning. Good morning. Nyaki.
Nat says Ari's my. I almost thought it said least favorite little girl dancer. My latest favorite little girl. Yep, she gets it. If only she would wear her tea dress.
What did my Grandma Jerry say?
How come that other guy don't tell stories? What's the matter already? Told all his lies. Oh, there he goes. You can talk. Oh, me.
He's our sober guy, Grandma.
Yep. Yep.
He's our sober guy.
More sobriety time than a lot.
Yeah.
Still tore it though. Just sober. Just made
We haven't
bad
even-
decisions on my
We have
own.
any more coming?
Yeah. Cece says my mom got 25 years.
Wow, Caroline. All
White
right.
Buffalo says Arapaho all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Francis
Grandma Jerry.
says, "Yo, I made it. Good morning."
All right. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it.
And then Randy Nolene says, "Good morning to
Mr.
the Arapaho Alliance." I like it. I think it's great. It's like they came up with that instantly too.
Who said that?
I think it was my grandpa Dennis, and it was when we were up in Wyoming, and then they were talking about doing a meeting while, like, you know, at Sundance. And so yeah, and I was like, what is AA? And then yeah, they were just like, oh. Good place to say it.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good morning, brother Randolph. He's gonna be coming to Oklahoma pretty soon. I can't. I think he's coming in on the 26th. What day are we leaving?
The 27th.
Ah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out, bro.
Just tell him delay it a week.
No, but he's coming to get his 4-year chip.
Congratulations.
Yeah. No fronts though.
fronts, though.
No
Yep.
fronts. So, but yeah, well, that was pretty good. Nice little
Little blurb.
blurb.
Yeah. All right.
We're gonna do a couple of the.
Announcements.
I really don't enjoy doing them anymore.
Well, I mean, you can just do the good ones.
Yeah, okay, just the good
Oh,
ones. That's not a good one.
Yeah. Well, if you guys want free telehealth counseling services, go to www.talkspace.com/CHATOR or scan the QR code. And then whenever it asks you for an organization or an EAP code, put restore, and that gets you free counseling services for anybody 13 and up. And it is from your phone, so you can message your counselor 24/7 or video chat with them twice a month. And you match with a counselor, so you can choose, a native counselor, and so that way they already know a lot of the cultural things that are going on, or they can resonate with you. And if you don't like your counselor, you can match with a new one.
Text TOR, TOR, to 888-500-4TOR. That keeps you in the loop with what we do as a program, TOR, Tribal Office of Recovery, or what we do as a Gourd clan. And it gives you all of our meeting time, dates, locations, and then it gives you like the address of where we're co-host at, or whatever we do with the Gourd clan. So it's a great way to stay in the loop with what we got going on. So shout out to Brand Logics, my dude.
Right. And then I don't know. You usually do this one.
I thought we were doing the good ones.
Well, if you want to, if you want talking circles, Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays here at 1950 South Shepherd at 7 p.m. Mondays are Amending Mondays, focused on grief. Thursdays is our regular talking circle, and then Fridays is our 12-step meeting, so it's more pen to paper to set work. And we also have our youth empowerment group on Thursdays here at 1950. So also on Thursdays, we have a group in Weatherford at 810 East Cedar Avenue. And then All Nations Recovery Gourd Clan is looking for a junior princess for 2025 to 2027, ages 10 to 15. Scan the QR code and, be willing to share about, how substance use or recovery has impacted your life. And so, if you have somebody in mind, send that on over to them. Sober Skins. Yeah. And next week on April 22nd, Tuesday, we will have a Sober Skins event. We have no idea what this is going to look like. We're just vibing.
Hopefully there's more than 4 of us.
Yeah, probably just gonna. Yeah. Well, we'll have 8 or maybe around 8. But so we're gonna try to invite as many natives in sobriety that are peers or aspiring to be peers.
Yeah, who want to be peers.
Yeah, I mean, and then just any native that's like
in recovery.
We're gonna have supper. We're gonna have an open mic podcast. We'll probably set it up on the stage to where everybody can hear too. So it'll be like a panel almost. And then we're just gonna figure out what happens. Yeah, at least 4 though. So we got 4 microphones, so we're gonna have at least 4 people at that event. Might be us 4, but so it'll be 4 to 7, and then Cash says 1 year sober. Oh, all right, hold on. All right, 1 year sober off fentanyl, Southern Cheyenne. April 28th is my sober date.
All right,
congratulations.
Tuning in.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing that.
Ron says Pivawana, and my therapist wants to talk to you guys. What, does he think that we have something wrong with us?
I'll be diagnosed as soon in 5 minutes.
See me leaving in a straight jacket, wheeled out.
Have them give us a call.
Sure
I mean,
sober?
Yeah.
I'm sure they're trying to make. I think they're probably be making his exit plan or whatever. I mean, I'm assuming he's maybe in a facility or something.
Ron Colley?
Oh, Ron Colley. I thought you meant Cash.
Oh, no.
I guess you're in a facility now.
Yeah. Well, Ron's just he needs a therapist because he's stuck in that office by himself. It's scary.
What did
Uh,
Dave say?
Skins. So we show up Buck next Tuesday. Yes,
Yes.
that's your entry. Barry's making sure he's gonna be at the door with his magnifying glass, making sure everybody.
Who else? Who else got some comments?
Nat says Ron's just saying that we're a big part of his need for therapy. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, he is.
Yep. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, I do have a question. Do you guys like it if we have 2 people on, or do you want 4 people on? What do you think?
Or no people.
Or
What
no
do I
people, or
think?
solo?
I just like people that are in recovery on.
But how many of those people do you like?
As many as we can get.
4 microphones, 4 people. But yeah. All right.
More
Avenger Baddie number 2 says, she says, the more the better.
self-proclaimed.
Self-proclaimed Avenger Baddie 2. But yeah, because we're just trying to figure out if we need to expand. Because whenever we're all 4 of us are on, we get pretty reckless and it's pretty entertaining. We got Mingo over there doing ad libs the whole time. Yeah. And then another separate conversation, and then you just talking to the camera. And so, yeah, we're just trying to figure out if we need to get a bigger couch, get a sectional.
Whatever.
Who knows?
C Dump is crying around because you didn't notice her B Dump comment.
Oh, she says there's something
C-Dump.
wrong with B Dump.
See them. Yeah, I can't see. I'm blind,
Yeah,
bro.
and then she said, "Y'all forgot my comments. Sad
Oh.
face, sad face."
See them.
All right, that's all I got. But I
That's
just
all I
just
got.
want to know for, future endeavors. Who knows how big our podcast will be.
Future
We're gonna have
endeavors.
a whole talking circle. You're gonna have a GoPro just swiveling.
We had one answer, and it was Ron. He said 3.
3. Nat said all 4. Double decker couch, absolutely. Have Barry's little feet dangling off.
Yeah.
They already do on the bottom of this one anyway.
His feet aren't even touching.
Yeah,
the
he's just
ground.
kicking them.
Like on the stage at the
Yeah, yeah. At the conference, we just kidding, waiting for a sippy cup in a high chair.
hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
That's all I got.
that's all I got too.
Well, like, share, follow. Tell your mammy about it.
32 people on here. Bunk beds, absolutely. We'll be laying down too.
Yeah, yeah.
You want to ask for questions before we get off, since there's 32 people.
Does anybody have any questions? And we got to give a shout out to South Coast Behavioral. My brother Dave over there, my brother Dallas over there, Mr. Evans. I got to give a shout out to those 3 gentlemen. Mr. Evans, a 5-minute conversation with Mr. Evans has changed my life forever. And, for that, I'll always be grateful for the opportunity to help the next person. So, if anybody knows what they're doing over there, I would listen to those 3 gentlemen right there. So, shout out again to South Coast Behavioral and their students, not clients. They're not clients, they're students.
Yeah. Ron said Desi asked if he had any visitors, and then he asked her, "Do you mean live people? Are all the spirits in that building?" Yeah.
Well, that's funny. Well, Mr. Colley, I hope we see you soon.
Tomorrow. We're gonna see him tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. All right.
You'll
Good
see
deal.
some
good-
live people tomorrow. You won't
Good
be
deal.
Stuck in the dark room anymore.
Well, I guess with that, we appreciate all the comments. Hope everybody has a good day. And are we doing
Trauma Tuesday.
Trauma Tuesday?
Yeah, probably do Trauma.
Yeah, we will see you this afternoon. So I hope.